I am just going to let Kano fight in the background of my intro and outro for this episode. Let's just go ahead and enjoy the intro dialogue he has with Melina.
Any final words?
How about reconstructive dentistry?
Obnoxious to the end.
Round 1. Fight!
Time for things to get frosty. Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I am continuing my playthrough of the story mode for Mortal Kombat X. Starting off, we are going to have Sub-Zero in Chapter 3. If you did not catch the first episode, I'll go ahead and throw that on screen now, so you can go check that out if you want to. But if you do not feel like it, no worries. Here are the key things that you missed. The game started off with Shinnok, Quan Chi, and the revenant versions of old allies invading Earth and trying to wipe out all life by literally stealing or corrupting the life energy of the world, the Jinsei. Fortunately, it turned out that Johnny Cage's green glowing energy is super effective on gods, and he was able to defeat Shinnok. Shinnok then got imprisoned inside of his own amulet, and then we jumped forward 20 years to find out that there is a new ruler of Outworld named Kotal Khan. He is fighting off a civil war being conducted by the former ruler's illegitimate daughter, that being Melina. Kotal Khan survives her assassination ambush attempt and nearly captures Melina for execution. But it turns out somehow she is in possession of Shinnok's amulet. She then wields it as a weapon, but also harms herself in the process. Fortunately, it does enough damage to get her escape attempt to be successful, and then she also eviscerates a lot of people on Kotal Khan's side. Now, those deaths suck and all, but the big problem that we're really facing here is that effectively means that the Earthrealm has lost custody of Shinnok. Besides that train wreck going on in Outworld, Johnny Cage is now training a new team of Earthrealm defenders, and their first task is going to be to capture Sub-Zero, either willingly or by force. And that is so that they can ensure that he is either going to be an ally or sidelined entirely if a conflict between Earth and Outworld were to arise. And that does make sense considering his assassin clan, the Lin Kuei. They supported Outworld in the very last major conflict that Earth had with Outworld. Anyway, that's enough summary. Let's go ahead and take control of Sub-Zero.
Once we hit the drop point, we split up. Jackie and I will come in from the south, you two from the west. Rendezvous here, the north entrance.
Then what? A simple pick up and go?
We bag him if he resists.
Resistance might be more possible than you think.
Don't sweat it. It comes to that, Sub-Zero won't know what hit him.
The forward defenses stand down as you command, Grandmaster.
It is confirmed. 4 intruders.
It is time to entertain our guests.
All right, I've got point. You and Jin, that side. Move! Ready? Damn it, Jin.
You! I need to...
You are not welcome here. State your intentions.
Grandmaster, we need you to come with us. My name is Sergeant...
You demand my cooperation, yet you are cut off, surrounded. What will you do?
My father always spoke highly of you, Sub-Zero. He wants to talk.
Talking. Always his first choice.
Okay, let's try pummeling. Now!
Wait!
Cassandra Cage. You lead this group, but they do not follow. What would your mother do?
stop wasting time and take you down.
So, if you saw the last episode and have not played this game before, you might be a bit confused by Subzero at the moment. The reason I say that is because he was an undead revenant who fought for the Netherrealm side in that episode. Now he is fully alive, human, and just chilling in Earthrealm with his old assassin clan again. The game does not bother explaining what has changed over the last 20 years up to this point with Subzero, but it does eventually explain it, so don't worry, there are answers later on in the game. Just go ahead and accept the fact that he is somehow still alive and not stuck fighting for the Mortal Kombat hell anymore. And because Sub-Zero still has to be explained by the game more, I am not going to talk too much about him even though this is his chapter. Also, Sub-Zero is now fighting against 4 new characters introduced in Mortal Kombat X. These new characters were intended to really be the main characters for this game. I have heard them called the Combat Kids before, and that does feel appropriate. Each one of them is the child of a fighter from Mortal Kombat's past or in some way related to an old character. Now they are being put on one team and being trained by heroes of the old generation to be the heroes of the future, and they are honing their skills against real-world threats as training. It is basically the plots of My Hero Academia, but the Mortal Kombat version. Now to the character I am fighting against. After 9 games of hinting at a potential relationship between Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, we finally got that, kind of. What we got was confirmation they got married and had a child, but we only get to see them after they are divorced and that relationship is over. Even so, because of the implications of that relationship, we get their daughter as a playable character. Her name is Cassie Cage, and she is arguably the most popular of the Combat Kids. Now, she's not my favorite, but I do like her as an addition to Mortal Kombat. In her adulthood, she is on a newly formed Earthrealm hero team being managed by her dad, Johnny Cage. Besides just being on the team, she is designated the team leader. She seems to be a solid mix of the personalities of both her parents, and she also has followed in Sonya's footsteps by joining the military. Although it must have been an interesting conversation because Sonya Blade is a commissioned officer and for some reason, Cassie Cage decided to go in the enlisted direction. Kind of weird, but okay. She also has some of her dad's energy abilities mixed in with the use of conventional weapons like guns. Overall, a pretty well-rounded character by design and weapon choices.
You are more like your mother than you think. Your powers should have revealed my intention, Takahashi Takeda. No doubt Kenshi taught you how to use them.
My father taught me a lot, Grandmaster.
Let us see.
Now for my favorite of the new characters. This is Takeda, and in my opinion, he got the best derived abilities of the 4 characters on this team. Each of the team members kind of borrows abilities from old characters mixed in with some new stuff. Takeda gets my favorite of those mixes. Takeda is the son of Kenshi, and because of that, he has his father's telepathy. He also was raised by Scorpion as part of the newly reformed Shiroryu ninja clan. So this character has the abilities and training of Kenshi, the blind swordsman, who also has telepathic abilities, and Takeda also has the abilities and training of the fiery hellspawn ninja Scorpion. That is an outstanding combination. Plus, he also gets some pretty badass weapons of his own. Depending on his variation, if it's Ronin, he gets this crazy little laser sword, and in his Shiroryu and his Lasher variation, he has whips that have these crazy blades in them. Now, the whips specifically are entirely unique to this character, and I really enjoy the gameplay with them. Now, all of that together, that's just a bunch of really great old assets in combination with some really cool new stuff. So yeah, I am a big fan of the character, be it his design, his backstory, his weapons, just all of it. And I am very glad that he is also going to be DLC for Mortal Kombat 1. In Mortal Kombat 10, he was one of my favorite characters to play, so him just being in any games in the future, that's going to get a big thumbs up from me. Oh, and if you are curious how Takeda was trained by Scorpion when Scorpion was allied with the antagonist Quan Chi, don't worry, it gets explained later, so just hang in there. But yeah, in the end, Takeda was trained by Scorpion, and Takeda ends up being his star pupil with the Shiroryu, which was reformed after the events of the war with Shinnok in the Netherrealm. There is actually a substantially large amount of information about that duo, Scorpion and Takeda, in the Mortal Kombat X comics. But like I said in the last episode, the events of the Mortal Kombat X comics are not necessarily canon anymore, so yeah, they kind of have to take those with a grain of salt. Still, I recommend reading them because what happens with Scorpion and Takeda in those comics is pretty badass, and it's just an overall pretty good read. Now, I had not read those comics until I had already beaten the Mortal Kombat X video game, but after I did read them, it just made me like the character of Takeda even more. Also, it's kind of funny that the Lin Kuei that Sub-Zero represents used to be major rivals with the Shirai Ryu back before they were destroyed, and now in the future he is yet again fighting the Shirai Ryu in the new form with Takeda. Nowhere near the bloodbath that it used to be, but hey, it's kind of cool to see that happening again.
You are not your father. Not yet.
Damn it.
You announced your arrival, Jacqueline Briggs.
Specialist, Briggs.
Yes, military decorum is important in your family.
If you know my father, you know me. Thought you and he were friends.
Our histories share a dark chapter.
This member of the new team is Jackie Briggs. As the last name would imply, she is the daughter of Jax. And as I say that out loud, it must have really sucked having your father turned into an undead revenant. Like, how do you even tell your child that bad news? I'm imagining something like, hey, sorry kid, your dad is dead. Oh, and he is basically a zombie trying to destroy the world now. So, okay, that's all the news I have. Bye now. Yeah, I don't think there are any parenting books about breaking the news about your undead dad. In any case, like Cassie, Jackie decided to follow in the military footsteps of her parents, and she even sports mechanical arm attachments that are probably inspired by her father's mechanical prosthetics. I like the inclusion of Jackie, but she might be my least favorite of the combat kids. That's not because she is a bad character or anything, I actually like Jackie, but I don't really feel like they do enough to distinguish her from her father. She kind of strikes me as Jax number 2. I mean, Cassie Cage kind of has this problem too, but it helps that she is a mix of both her parents, and you can kind of see that. We don't really know anything about Jackie's mom, and because of that, we only really have Jax to compare to. And when you do that, they kind of just do the same thing with her that they were doing with Jax before. There's just not really enough to set her apart, and she really needs that. And then, of course, they made her go in the military just like Jax, and now she's fighting on the same team as Cassie, who is kind of our Sonya replacement. So it's literally the best buddy special forces duo thing all over again, just repeated with a new generation. So yeah, she's just kind of doing the same crap that Jax was doing, and she really needed her own thing to distinguish her. If they end up doing that in the future, I think the character is going to stand out a lot more, and yeah, I think that's going to be to her benefit. And don't get me wrong, it makes sense that her and Cassie would be friends. Like, I imagine as close as Jax and Sonya were in life, after Jax passed away, Sonya probably did step in and was around Jackie quite a bit, and Jackie probably knew Sonya from back whenever her dad was still alive. So whenever Sonya and Johnny had their kid, of course they would kind of be around each other and eventually get to know each other and maybe become friends over time.
Do not judge yourself harshly, Specialist Briggs.
Feint. Bravo.
Kungjin, you should rally your companions rather than mock your superiors.
I'll remember that, in case I ever meet one.
And lastly, we have this new character who is Kung Jin. Now, Kung Jin is related to Kung Lao in some way that I am not aware of, at least I believe that's the case. He also seems to inherit Kung Lao's arrogant demeanor. Kung Jin is usually pretty quick to criticize others, boast for himself, and then jump into fights. We saw that on display here whenever he instigated the confrontation with Sub-Zero before anyone else on his team did. Still, he was trained by the Shaolin monks at the Wu Shi Academy, and as a result he is pretty well trained in the world of combat and has also been taught a lot about the mythology of this Mortal Kombat universe. That tends to come in handy. Plus, his character has the unique distinction of being an archer, which is not very common in the world of Mortal Kombat. I can only really think of one other main roster character from the previous games to use a bow and arrow combo, and that was Nightwolf. And that was in a much more limited capacity than what we get with Kungjin. Besides that, Kratos also kind of had a bow whenever he was a DLC character, but that's about it. And Kungjin really does not play like either of them. I'd actually say that he has a lot more in common with Green Arrow from the Injustice games than he does with any character who also uses a bow in Mortal Kombat. And because those two different games have no real relation to each other, at least their storylines don't intersect, so because of that, I'm pretty sure the Mortal Kombat team was really comfortable with the idea of kind of copying some things from Green Arrow and just giving it to Kungjin. I don't know that for a fact or anything, but that would not surprise me whatsoever.
False bravado does not suit you.
Any ideas?
Sub-Zero, let's talk.
That opportunity has passed.
Got a new plan, Cage?
You could have followed the old one, Jin.
You're gonna catch hell if you kill us.
Yes, I suppose so. Shuo Dangjin.
That worked?
This was all
A training exercise.
Damn, I should have seen it.
You and your friends show much promise, Cassandra Cage. But until you function as one, you will fall short.
So other than that, you enjoyed your visit?
The Lin Kuei shredded us.
You maybe.
I see plenty of frozen boot prints on your ass, too.
Come on now. You're all winners in my book. New orders from General Blade. Priority 1, Outworlders. Here in Earthrealm.
An invasion?
Couldn't be.
You're not afraid, are you, Mr. Cage? Outworlders, I can handle. So when did they show up?
The portal opened by the docks a few hours ago.
Nearly 5,000 in all. Refugees from the Outworld Civil War.
Must be bad if they risked coming to Earthrealm.
After you.
Do not dwell on your encounter with the Lin Kuei, son.
Pretty hard not to.
Thanks, Kenshi. Could you and Mr. Cage join us? Sergeant Cage, you and your team as you were.
This is Li Mei. She seeks asylum for her people in Earthrealm.
Our village, Sundo, was the epicenter of a fierce battle. We barely escaped with our lives.
Such is war. I mean, no offense, but you Outworlders kind of live for that, right?
This was different. The rebels, Milena, had a weapon unlike anything. Entire battalions erased. It was not honorable, not combat.
Tell me more about the weapon.
A talisman, gold, with a center jewel. Milena wields its crimson energy without precision.
Well, that's good then.
Not now, Sergeant Cage.
It is enough that she possesses it. It turns the tide in her favor. The Emperor grows desperate, and those caught in the middle pay the price.
If this talisman is what I suspect it to be, we may all pay a price.
We talking about Shinnok's amulet?
Can't be. The base, the vault, your wardings, SF, Shaolin, no way anyone can get past all that.
I must be certain.
Well, this is cozy.
You remind me of an Earthrealmer who crossed over with us. He also found humor in everything.
Handsome guy, right?
He was an Earthrealmer. One of his eyes glowed red.
What does she mean?
Kenshi, continue with Li Mei. I'm going to the refugee camp. Gotta get to him before he finds a way out.
I'll come with.
Go get an update on camp security from Colonel Flagg.
Why?
Because then you won't be here.
Are we with you?
No. I need to confirm with Kotal Khan that Li Mei's story is true. You and your team are going to Outworld.
I don't know, I expected the sky to be purple or something.
Don't believe everything you see online.
And what makes you an expert?
The Shaolin Archives. I studied a lot about Outworld.
No substitute for experience.
So what makes you our leader?
Guys, let's stick to the mission.
Li Mei has to be telling the truth.
An invasion would violate the Reiko Accords.
You can always trust an Outworlder.
But if Outworld's our ally, why didn't they help us during the Netherrealm War? Against Quan Chi and his team of...
Revenants? Like Jackie's dad?
Asshole.
It's not an alliance. Non-aggression pact. Outworld is not our ally.
A point you might make with more subtlety, given your surroundings. Now state your business, including a reason why we shouldn't kill you.
I can read you. You're not from Outworld.
I'm from Earthrealm, like you. But my employer, Kotal Khan, is from Outworld. So now I'm from Outworld. State your business.
We're emissaries. We need to talk to Kotal Khan. Here, we have Raiden's official seal.
I can buy one of those at that stall right over there.
Look, you can arrest us, even kill us. But if we're telling the truth, you probably get a pay cut. Or worse. You take us to the Khan, I'll tell him you took us down. Maybe you get a bonus. You can't lose.
Follow me.
In these times of war, we are required to view every resource as a weapon for our Emperor to use at his discretion. To take without his leave is to steal from the hand of Kotal Khan himself. Therefore, having been found guilty of theft, you shall be put to death.
I was hungry.
Your sentence will be carried out immediately.
Death? For petty theft?
Remember where you are.
Jin?
Get out of here. Go.
I knew I shouldn't have listened to you.
A lesson in trust from a mercenary.
Here's another learning opportunity.
Alright, now we have a new member of the Outworld antagonistic team. Although less of an antagonistic team than they used to be, more of a not ally team. This is Aaron Black. and he was one of my favorite new characters introduced in Mortal Kombat X. He might actually be my second favorite. He is definitely, sadly, in a jobber tier as characters go in Mortal Kombat. He has no real influence on the plot of the game, and pretty much just exists to make the heroes look good. Even so, I like the design and the concept of there being a Wild West outlaw who ended up in the Outworld area as a hired gun. And his arcade ladder ending implies that Aaron Black was a contract killer for Shang Tsung for a little while, at least in the distant past. And in exchange for Aaron's services, Shang Tsung used his sorcery to extend Aaron Black's life. And in exchange for his services, Shang Tsung used his sorcery to extend Aaron Black's life. So Aaron has been alive since the 1800s, and he just elected to stay in Outworld after getting his extended youth, and eventually he used his skills as a marksman to become so notorious that Kotal Khan sought him out as a bodyguard whenever he became emperor. Just all around a cool character, even if overall he is not very important.
I'm a quick learner.
Let's play, Tor!
You couldn't just ask for a pony like every other girl?
The archives never mentioned symbiotes.
Alright, we get to control this new character Kungjin through a minigame. Now we need to tap into his inner green arrow and archery our way out of a completely preventable conflict that he created again. A little advice, maybe don't try telling someone else that their customs are wrong in the middle of a hostile situation when you are a visitor in this foreign land. Especially whenever the situation is as severe as punishing theft in the middle of wartime whenever you are on a resource deficit. Now granted, execution is probably a bit excessive, but even if you reasonably disagree with what they are doing, being an outsider and interrupting an execution probably is not going to go over very well. This is especially true when you are overwhelmingly outnumbered by the people that you are disagreeing with. But Kungjin is the protagonist, so he's probably going to get away with his dumbass decision, so what do I care?
You here make trouble, Skinny? Trouble make you!
There are no new characters introduced in this game that I do not like, but I do think that Farah and Tor are my least favorite new additions. I still like them though. I think their duo gimmick is cool and I recall liking their gameplay, but there is almost no relevance to them in this story. There is no explanation for why they are on Kotal Khan's side, and there's no explanation for why they are part of his most trusted circle of defenders. They do not get any major wins or any major events that revolve around them in the story mode. At most, if you complete their arcade ladder, you get a little bit of an explanation about their species, but that is about it. I do find their society's concept interesting, but they don't really do anything with it in this game. And unfortunately, because of that, there's just nothing really mention-worthy about them. You could probably remove them from the game and it wouldn't make any real difference. And whenever a character could be completely removed from a game and it basically would be the exact same, it is hard to like them over more meaningful characters. At least some characters like Aaron Black actually have dialogue and decisions to make, like whether or not to escort the Earthrealm strangers to Kotal Khan. It's not much, but it's something. Farah has a few one-liners and Tor just growls at you. And you occasionally fight them. And beating them just makes whatever character you're controlling in that chapter look a little bit better. So yeah, Farah and Tor have all of the narrative relevance of a literal guard dog that just shows up in random scenes. In the end, I really like the character concept and it is kind of cool to me. That's really all that saves them from being really boring characters to me.
Love to learn more about you. Too bad you're insane. You guys all right?
The Earthrealmers, yes. This one must learn more of your diplomatic techniques.
We're here to see Kotal Khan. General Blaze...
You interfere with Outworld matters. The penalty is death.
I'm sensing a theme.
But, as we honor the Reiko Accords, we will consult the Emperor. You will await him here.
you want to take this opportunity to tell us what the fuck shit you were thinking?
I gotta wonder why you'd risk interrealm war for a bread thief.
Because not all thieves are irredeemable.
It has more sentimental than monetary value. Nevertheless, I would prefer you did not steal it.
It's a family heirloom, one that shouldn't have been given to you.
Your family honored me with this memento of your cousin Lao after his death.
A death you caused! You made him fight Shao Kahn, and stood there while that bastard snapped his neck!
You go too far, kungjin.
No, not far enough.
Flashback time. I mentioned this in the last episode, but I will say it again here. This game does flashbacks like this a lot. They can range all the way back to 20 years prior to the story's main events. For new characters like Kungjin here, it is used as a tactic to give these characters a bit more of a backstory. For older characters like Sonya in a future chapter, the flashbacks are used to explain things like character changes that we have been seeing throughout the game without any sort of an explanation. Like how Subzero is somehow a living human again. Here with Kungjin though, we get to see what he was like prior to being a monk with the Wuxi Academy. And we get to see that he harbors a bit of resentment towards Raiden for what happened to his family. I think these flashbacks work for the new characters, but it is a bit iffy with the older ones. It kind of feels like more of the story should have been told chronologically. I think the bouncing back and forth between the past and the present can take you out of the tension building in the present, but that's just my opinion. Overall, I think the story is still really good, but it may have benefited from somewhat of a different order. In any case, let's go ahead and get back to Kungjin being ballsy enough to fight a literal god.
Just let me go.
Blood of Kung Lao, descendant of the great Kung Lao, a common thief. Did you think you could walk unimpeded into my temple and walk out again without my complicity?
You wanted me to attack you. Why?
To release your anger, make you amenable to reason.
And make me feel like shit.
Self-loathing has always been an unfortunate part of your makeup. There lies ahead a brighter path, one that will truly honor your ancestors, one that is worthy of you. Go to the Wuxi Academy, join the Shaolin, like Kung Lao before you.
I can't. They won't accept.
They care only about what is in your heart, not whom your heart desires.
It's too late for me.
It is never too late, Kungjin.
Your news of refugees is troubling. Their exodus to Earthrealm was not known to me. I do know this. I invited no guests from Earthrealm. Certainly none who would disrupt the execution of justice. How do I know you are not allied with Mileena? Perhaps her newfound power has earned her new friends.
Friends? No. No, we're not even sure that's Shinnok's amulet she has.
She employs Shinnok's amulet against me. The very item Earthrealm swore would be safe in its care, when Outworld was offered no participation.
We were under attack, not Outworld.
Kotal Khan, the fire that burns the sun. We are here because we share your concerns about the missing item. We intend no ill against your rule.
At least one Earthrealmer can forge words like silver. But I recall an Earthrealm expression. There is more honor among thieves than diplomats.
I've had the questionable fortune to be both, Emperor. But I'm telling you the truth.
You are allied with Melina. You may carry out your sentence.
Kotal Khan, under Outworld law, I claim the right of defense. By combat.
What?
You're gonna fight a duel?
To absolve us of all accusations. Denying the request brings dishonor upon the accuser.
You know much of Outworld.
No, also, the duel ends in death.
You have won nothing. Merely a few more seconds of breath.
I recall this fight being one that some people did not care for. I believe it was largely used as a way of saying Kotal Khan is kind of a jobber and just loses. And I understand that perspective since Kotal does lose a lot of fights, and they seemingly should be fights that he should win, but he struggles a lot or just loses. But I don't agree with the jobber label for Kotal. In Chapter 2, which was not that long ago, Kotal Khan killed a bunch of Tarkatans, and then he beat the cybernetically enhanced Kano, the Adenian Tanya, the demigod Rain, and then the challenger to the throne herself, Melina. And keep in mind, he did all of this when he was caught off guard in the middle of an ambush assassination attempt. Those are a lot of big wins when you're not even prepared for a fight. And in the end, he survived even being hit with whatever dark magic that Shinnok's amulet had that was able to evaporate normal people. The guy is definitely not in the jobber tier. And after taking that big of a beating in his own chapter, it makes sense that he may not be 100% here. And taking a loss to a Shaolin monk from the Wuxi Academy that trained Kung Lao and Liu Kang, well, that seems like maybe an understandable loss to me. And I do not really think that that is an indication of a weak character, but that is just my opinion. And let's see here, I'll go ahead and get off the topic of Kotal Khan and return to the topic of Kungjin, you know, the actual chapter character. In the very last cutscene, that was a flashback whenever Kungjin defeated Raiden, who was apparently holding back so that Kungjin could just get some aggression out. We did get a little bit of a drop or a reveal that Kungjin is actually gay, and that actually makes him, I believe, the first homosexual character in all of the Mortal Kombat series. I might be mistaken about that, but if he is not the first, he is one of the very few. And I think that's kind of a cool fact and something that doesn't really come up a whole lot. Now, they don't really do anything with that fact, and it doesn't really ever come up again besides just being something they very briefly mention in that flashback, and they do it kind of subtly. They don't go out of their way to tell you that, yes, this character is that. But hey, it happened, and it felt like that was mention-worthy.
And now, Emperor?
The charges against you are void. I say to all that Earthrealm means Outworld no harm. Now kill me. Be done with it.
You're not actually gonna...
Instead of your life, I claim your service. If Melina does have the amulet, we can get it from her more easily if we work together.
Emperor, they cannot be trusted.
Thora, can you not perceive I am indebted to them?
You honor us, Kotal Khan. Our gratitude is wide like the ocean.
I'll talk to General Blade. Tell her about our new... arrangement.
Thanks for the heads up, Sergeant. Stay with Kotal Khan. We'll figure out next steps once I've got Kano locked down.
Yes, ma'am. Cage out.
He's still here. I can feel it. Report.
One of the refugees. Found her near the north perimeter.
That's one of Kano's neckties. Inform Li Mei. Tell her we're investigating. Raiden, what'd you find?
Shinnok's amulet has been stolen, replaced by an exquisite duplicate.
Damn it.
Something is wrong. I will speak to you once I...
Raiden? Raiden! Lieutenant, I need you to take a team to Fort Charles. Check in with Raiden and report back.
What's going on?
What's your update from Colonel Flagg?
He said, "Why are you bothering me?" And I said, "Because my ex-wife is a pain in the..." Where are you going? You can't just walk away. I'm in this too.
Not my decision. Thank your buddy, Secretary Blake.
This is what split us up in the first place. You disappear in your work. Never time for me and Cassie.
I had responsibilities. Sorry you couldn't be the center of attention.
There was a time when you cared more about your family than your job. General.
Nope. No evil sorcerers in here.
Would you get serious?
Quan Chi needs to clean up his man cave.
It's cleaner than yours.
You're comparing me to Quan Chi?
Only in terms of cleanliness.
What's this?
I wouldn't do that.
Aw, come on. Where's your sense of... adventure?
You wish for adventure? You shall have it.
Fire!
I have no need of your soldiers, but you and Mr. Cage will serve me well, once you are dead.
Don't know when to quit, do you?
So, like I hinted at earlier in this episode, or maybe the last episode, most of Sonya's chapter is going to be a flashback. And we will finally get some sort of an explanation for the state of certain characters in the present. But I will let you see those parts for yourself. For now, let's talk about Scorpion. One of the things I did not get to talk about with Scorpion back in Johnny Cage's chapter is that I think that it is interesting that Scorpion actually does think for himself fully. That is completely unlike the revenants like Subzero and Jax. Scorpion fully retains his old personality, and he has shown the ability to make decisions and deals, even if they do not necessarily align with what Quan Chi wants. An example of that is in the previous game, Mortal Kombat 9, where he made a deal with Raiden, and that bargain was for Scorpion not to kill the old Sub-Zero Bihan. Initially, Scorpion agrees to spare the old Sub-Zero in exchange for Raiden bartering with the Elder Gods to revive Scorpion's family and Ninja Assassin clan. And that Ninja Assassin clan and family were killed by Sub-Zero, so that was what Scorpion's motivation was to kill him in the first place. So making that deal with Raiden would directly conflict with his deal with Quan Chi. So that implies that Scorpion could break the deal and make decisions for himself. Now, he did end up killing the old Sub-Zero anyway, but he did have a choice in the matter. He just chose to kill him in the end. So yeah, Scorpion is obligated to follow Quan Chi's orders, but he is distinct from the Revenants because he seems to have much more free will and can think for himself and make his own decisions, even if he is still being a servant to Quan Chi.
Not as tough as you look. Quan Chi, you've lost.
A delay, Miss Blade. The inevitable still beckons.
Johnny!
You won't be dead for long.
This will not happen.
Now it is a battle between former best buddies. Sonya and Jax were both Special Forces members who had each other's backs through multiple near-death and captive scenarios back in Mortal Kombat 9. Obviously, in the end, Jax died and Sonya lived. So this fight has to really suck. After all, you are fighting the zombie version of somebody you used to regularly trust with your life. Also, I have questions. In the comics, Quan Chi restored Sub-Zero from his cyborg form to a human form because he felt like Sub-Zero was limited being a machine. But if that was his logic for Sub-Zero, why the hell did he not do the same thing to bring back Jax's arms? Surely that would have been a hell of a lot easier than restoring Sub-Zero's entire fucking body. You could try making the argument that Jax does not have superpowers like Sub-Zero, so technology actually makes him better. But Quan Chi is a sorcerer. Surely he could have used some of that magic to enhance him more than the mechanical prosthetics can. I mean, hell, Shang Tsung gave Cabal super speed, and I think that was on accident. Surely Quan Chi can do something similar deliberately. It just feels like Jax is getting screwed while others are benefiting from Quan Chi's favoritism. I'm just saying. And also, while I am finishing up this fight with Jax, I am definitely going to lose at least a little bit with sonyablade. It's going to mostly be because she is one of the characters I did not take into training mode prior to doing her chapter. That's going to be with a good number of other characters as well, but generally speaking, I can just kind of fumble my way through it and figure out a sound strategy and win with it. If I'm completely doing terrible with a character, I will go into training mode to figure them out more, but normally I try to just go ahead and, I guess, brute force my way to victory and try to save myself a little bit of time whenever I do these recordings. So yeah, all these very near-death experiences with Sonya where I'm just barely winning, that's definitely why.
I'm sorry, Jax. I'll get you out of here. You'll be fine.
Don't know. Blood's supposed to be on the inside.
Raiden!
I must reverse his spell. Ata, Romeleko, Esaltika, Arventika. Ata, Romeleko.
It's working!
Essensalta, Bar, Penta.
You cannot save him. You're weak, Thunder God. Johnny Cage is mine.
No, he's mine. Save him! I've got this son of a bitch.
Alright, time to fight the Netherrealm's favorite goth kid. Judging from the decor and the necromancy, Quan Chi was dead serious when he told his parents that this is not a phase, this is a lifestyle. It just is who he is, damn it. Anyway, at this point, Quan Chi is basically the only meaningful leader left from when the evil elder god Shinnok attacked Earth. So, capturing him would basically mean this conflict is fully resolved. Then you could begin the process of getting intel and trying to reverse what he did to the now undead allies that he turned into enemies like Jax and Sub-Zero. That being said, Quan Chi is definitely being labeled a target to capture and not kill. Otherwise, the secrets to getting everyone back to normal instead of staying revenants would just die with him. And of course, I spent the very last of the very last fight talking about how I did not prepare with Sonya and that I thought I was probably going to lose just a little bit with her. Then the very next fight I end up winning the first round, and looks like I'm going to win this one pretty easily as well, so maybe I was worried for nothing.
That wasn't even close to what you deserve.
Sonyablade, the link with Quan Chi is not completely severed.
Not a problem.
Alright, time for another mini-game. And that mini-game is for Sonya to mimic the old Punisher video game and steal the interrogation scenes that they used to do back in the day. Careful though, Sonya, there is a higher than 0% chance that Quan Chi might be really into getting his ass kicked, and this is probably not going to yield the results that you want if that is the case. It just would not surprise me whatsoever if there is a Netherrealm BDSM chamber hidden around here somewhere.
Darala Feta. The others are restored to the living. By coupling Quan Chi's dark magics to my own, I was able to restore their souls.
Is he gonna make it?
Haven't I told you? He's a god.
Huh. You scared the shit out of me.
And they said I couldn't do horror films.
He's gone? How did he...
We gotta go after him.
He can wait. Right now, we need to get you and the others back to Earthrealm.
Why is it taking so long? Name? Rayen A2KE Ray.
Thanks.
You seem to know this Kano intimately.
Not the word I'd use, but yes. I chased him for years until he escaped to Outworld after Shinnok's invasion.
Why would he return now?
All that matters is he's... caught. Gotcha.
Are you lost?
Hello, love. Been a while.
Not long enough. This is General Blade. I need MPs to my location immediately.
Oh, let's keep this between friends. A trade. Info for freedom.
I don't negotiate with scumbags.
Well then, if mother won't play nice, maybe daughter will.
If you ever...
Back off, and all's well. Piss me off, and Cassie's gonna meet Uncle Kano.
I swear to God, I'll kill you.
I just have to say it. Raiden just suddenly remembered that he had healing lightning powers. And those powers were strong enough to heal Johnny Cage after he was completely impaled through the torso. Just, where the fuck was that healing lightning in Mortal Kombat 9? You know who else could have used some healing lightning? Maybe burn to death Liu Kang, or beat to death Katana, or Jax after his arms were amputated, or Kung Lao after his neck got broken. So you're telling me that getting stabbed through the spine, several vital organs, through the sternum, Healing that is apparently easier than those dire injuries. Just seriously, what the fuck, man? I have not had to say this in a while, but Raiden, you are terrible at your job. Also, I love how he took credit for restoring Jax, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion back to human form, and he just says to everybody in the room that he is coupling Quan Chi's magic with his own. Like, fucker, you were just electrocuting a pool of magic goo. You reversed that magic as deliberately as I repaired my TV that time I smacked the side of it and the picture just happened to stop glitching out. You are not fooling me, Raiden. I know what failing upward looks like. But yeah, seeing that Raiden could heal Johnny Cage and he just elected not to heal anyone else back when they were still alive and dying in the previous game, I don't know, it kind of makes me wonder if he just wanted all those other characters to die. There's something sketchy going on around here and I just don't quite know what it is. But I am beginning to think that Raiden had some money against Earthrealm in that last fight, at least on a few specific fighters. So he went ahead and cashed in the moment they died. Now what does a god need money for? Fuck if I know. But it is a theory and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
No, I'm not done with you.
All right, get off me.
Sonya, ease up.
You killed me. Never fight. Amulet. Move.
Sonya, we need that info. Sonya, don't make this another thing you'll regret.
Talk.
Alright, we will be wrapping things up here with Sonya getting intel from Kano.
You make me sick. Watch your tongue or I'll have it. Thanks for the bright red target.
Round 1, fight.
So, what happened in this episode? Well, we found out that the new kids on the block kind of suck as a team at the moment, but they are working on it. Then a bunch of Outworld refugees appeared on Earth just because the fighting in the Civil War was getting pretty crazy over in Outworld. This then divided the protagonists. Sonya went to hunt for Kano among the refugees since he was escaping back into the Earthrealm from Outworld following his failed assassination attempt on Kotal Khan. Then the new team went to Outworld to join up with Kotal Khan and to begin hunting down Mileena and trying to retrieve Shinnok's amulet. And then, retrieving Shinnok himself by proxy. The team then fought and fumbled their way into the cooperation of Kotal Khan, and they are ready to look for Mileena and that amulet. Sonya also found and defeated Kano, who, while off screen, provides intel on where Mileena is hiding out with that amulet. And next episode we are going to start with Chapter 6 under the new perspective of a new character named Devora. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video and stick around for more. And once more, this has been Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, take care, and I will see you next time.
Finish him. Kano wins. Fatality.